The RG350M, thanks to Banggood for sending me this unit. By far one of the cheapest way to acquire one of these things. And the M has some very welcomed changes. You're going to see in a second my plastic model that I blinged out versus the M model. Hot swappable HDMI, comes pre-configured with thousands of games. A beautiful screen, great controls on the M now. You have the recessed analog and additional ports. You can see compared to my non-M version, I blinged it out and I added some thumb pads to it that actually really improved it. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox the M, tell you my thoughts, how to fix it so the HDMI is hot swappable, and then go ahead and see what ROMs are on here, what games are on here, what exactly you're getting into. But whatever the case may be, whether you go with the M or the non-M version, these are both amazing open source devices that I cannot recommend enough. All right, we got the 350M finally, where the analog stick is down, it's now recessed. You have an extra SD card port. Supposedly the HDMI is gonna work without an update. A couple other little add-ons. Similar, as far as horsepower, similar, front end, software similar, but let's get into it. On the box, it does come in 3 colors. I have the space gray. There's also space silver, rose gold. I wonder where they stole that from. And then we have, you know, all the different controls here. I don't know if you can see that. But you got volume, joysticks, L1, L2. The joysticks also do click in for an R3 and an L3. 2 SD card slots, micro SD, also known as TF slots. You do have an OTG cable, USB Type-C. Start. Select, get a nice D-pad here, A, B, X, Y, analog sticks, an R3 and an L, and look how flush that is now, barely pops about up as high as those buttons do. Dual stereo speakers. You have the reset button. I think the start button's on the side, yeah, there's just power button, and then really good placement here for the volume. I mean, that's where they are on cell phones. And then all your ports. 2 USB Type-C ports, mini HDMI, headphone jack, not a touchscreen. You do have some port games like Zelda, NSQ, Sonic, Doom, things like that. Some arcade classics like Asteroids and stuff. It's actually the emulators though, where you guys wanna go. And yes, this comes pre-done with like a ton of Final Burn Alpha games and, you know, Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, MAME, the list go on and on and on. So as far as emulators go, you have a MAME emulator, a couple different MAME emulators. Configuring supported ROMs, and look at this, you got video snaps and everything. So you got your R-types, Strikers, Thunder Dragon 2, and look, it's a little Pac-Man. You got X Multiply, Varth, 1942, 43, Acrobat, Bells and Whistles. Lots of main games here. Gunbird 1 and 2, I definitely want to play that. Ninja Baseball, R-types, Strikers, pretty cool. So you can go back. And then you got DOSBox, I don't think that, oh yeah, you got some DOS games, Monopoly 2, Flame Dragon Knights. Okay, Final Burn Alpha, you got a ton of games. Ton of Final Burn Alpha games. You got your CPS 1, 2, and 3 games. You've got, you know, your driving games. You got Aero Fighters 3. You got Neo Geo games on here. Art of Fighting 1, 2, and 3. Captain Commando. Darkstalkers. Double Dragon 1, 2, 3. Fatal Fury 1, 2, 3. Ghosts and Ghouls. Jackie Chan games, Knights of Valor, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Heroes. Let's go ahead and play Marvel vs. Capcom. There's a couple settings right there before, if you want to change like your sound settings, your controls, things like that can all be changed. You can also get into the emulator settings while you're playing the game, but tokens is just going to be select.
Ready. Marvelous.
You got Mega Mans, Metal Slugs, ton of really great games on here. Ninja Commando, Power Instinct 1 and 2, Puzzle Bubble. You do have some not safe for work games on here as well. Snow Bros 1 and 2, Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3, Street Fighter 2, World Warrior Championship Edition. You even got Street Fighter 0. You got Super Street Fighter 2, Turbo, and the new Challenger. All the King of Fighters, Ninja Blade, Ninja Kids, Vampire Savior, World Heroes. I mean, it's crazy good. I believe, yeah, this is a Nintendo emulator. You have 700 Nintendo games. Game Boy, you got 178. Game Boy Color, you got 221. Wonder Swan, you got, about a dozen or so. PlayStation, you got Rockman 5 and 6. Pico Drive, you got 638. So I guess, which ones are these? The Genesis Plus, I believe, is this going to be, okay, that's Game Gear, that's why. So that's Game Gear. So you have, in Game Gear, you have 50 games. In Genesis, you got 638. So there you go, Sega Genesis. Sega. You can exit the emulator, start select to go out. Game Boy Advance, you got 300. You got SNES 9X 270. You also got Pocket SNES 270. So you get two SNES emulators there. And then PC Engine CD, no games on here, but the emulator's on here, which is nice. We talked about Game Boy Advance already. And then PC Engine, you got, wow, a lot of PC Engine games. Really nice. And then this is a Neo Geo emulator, it looks like. Fatal Fury 1, 2, 3, King of Monsters, Last Blade, Metal Slug, and then MAME for All. Wow. You have another MAME emulator. Similar games to the other one. Pretty cool. Actually, it's different. You got Hook. You got a couple different games in here. RoboCop bootleg. Oh, these are all Japanese. It looks like most of these are Japanese games in the MAME for All. So here you can use your D-pad or your analog. It's a lot of fun with this analog. Should we go blue? I did take off the back, and as you can see, it's a much simpler design. You can get to the analog sticks a lot better. You can get to the D-pad and the ABXY, just removing these 8 screws. Looks like there's 2 more down here, and then 2 per analog stick. You got your dual speakers here. Your 2 SD card slots are now both available straight on the bottom of the device. You don't need to open this. That's why I wanted to open it to see what exactly was back here. And then the battery cable connects to there. I took out the bumpers for now. It looks like a much more solid construction. Definitely going to last a drop, as well as if anyone's ever opened up the regular RG350, it's very, the construction is not of high performance. So I have a formatted micro SD. It was formatted at FAT32. It says volume 1. And what I did is I created a folder called apps, and then I downloaded the M version here, RG350M HDMI beta 2020-0510. Go ahead, right click, 7-zip, extracted it here. That's what I was left with here. You get a little README file, definitely read through that, it'll tell you about the updates. And here's the actual file, and I just drag that over to my micro SD card here. And then we put this micro SD card into our, back into our RG350. So once we got our SD card with the OS on it, we could just go ahead and put it in. I might recommend resetting it. Once you put that in, I might just reset it right here, reset. Now you're gonna see this icon right here, OS update. Go ahead and click that, go to over here to yes, and then hit start. I already did it, so go ahead and get yes, and then you'll be all done, and it should just reboot. Once you've updated it, you can now get rid of this SD card or use it for to store ROMs or whatever. And then now you just go over to settings, G menu. It's gonna reboot after update. Now you have HDMI here, and just go ahead and set that to on, and then give it a second, like just wait here, give it a second, and now your HDMI hot swappable is working now. That's simple. Once you do the firmware update, it is now hot swappable when you turn HDMI mode on. So you see with the switch, should pick up there. Now this monitor is not receptive to the audio. I'll have to tweak with that a little later. But as you see there, full video. Certain monitors, certain HDMI cables will allow the audio. It might also be a settings thing that I need to go ahead and play with a little bit. But here you go, I am playing as normal, and if I pull it out, I can play with the analog stick or the D-pad. So I just see nice dual speakers. Final thoughts, at the time of recording, the M is $40 more than the plastic variant, although the M, just layout-wise, port-wise, arcade stick, the controls, the recess, it not popping out so much, are very welcome upgrades, especially just the durability is a huge, I think it's like, it's worth $20 for the upgraded controls, it's worth $20 for the durability, and then not to mention all the other little things that were changed in between the two versions. That being said, if you're on a budget, go and get the plastic one. I think it's still a great, the non-M version, the RG350. If you have the extra money, go with this. Thanks again to Banggood. They have by far some of the cheapest ways to get this, although it takes a little bit longer in shipping. Why not save the money? The plug-and-play ability of these, it's like the Pandora's box. If you don't like programming, you don't like dumping ROMs and things, this comes pre-configured, ready to rock and roll with thousands of games on it. So it really is an awesome machine. I would not hesitate for a second to grab either version. I'll put links in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.